Last time when I was with you, we talked about how to make lemonade. We're not going to be doing that today, but we're going to be talking about a similar topic. So I chose the topic, how to stay positive with a chronic illness. And the reason I chose that topic is because I know how such a diagnosis can leave someone in a very negative place or a dark place. And it can affect our psychological and emotional well-being very negatively, especially because the prognosis is that you're likely to stay the same or you're going to get worse. Your situation or your condition is going to get worse. And that is a really big burden to bear. And emotions such as hopelessness, sorrow, sadness can actually overwhelm us. Or we can face these emotions every now and again. And it's very helpful to actually think about strategies which can help us to balance out the negative emotions and to actually protect and foster our psychological well-being. So when I was preparing for this talk, it occurred to me that my mother actually also has a chronic illness. My mom was diagnosed with diabetes around 15 years ago. And during the course of her illness, her eyesight has gotten worse and worse. So she really has very poor eyesight. And she actually lost, she got kidney failure. So she lost both of her kidneys and had to get a transplant. And despite of that, my mom is someone who is very positive. I wouldn't say she's obviously not always positive. She has days which she's down as well. But generally, I would describe her as someone who's positive, someone who's managed to, protect somehow to keep up or keep her well-being, her psychological well-being has not been completely affected by that. And as I was preparing, I was home this August, and I thought to myself, what are the things that my mom is doing instinctively that have helped her to stay that positive? And I sort of started reflecting on that. And up to today, there's many things that she does, but I thought maybe I'll share with you too, which you can also, if you're a HD warrior, you can employ these things. Or if you have a family member who has who's affected by HD, these are things maybe that you could also share with them. So the first thing that I've noticed, or I noticed that my mom has done over the years, is stay connected. The thing is, illness segregates us. It separates us from mainstream society or society at large. It disconnects us with family, friends, because we sort of end up becoming secluded because our rhythms and patterns of life get disrupted. We no longer are able to do the things as we used to do before. So one can't go to work, one can't go to church, maybe even one can't go to meet friends as they used to be able to do. Because there's a loss of independence that occurs during when someone is ill. So an example of this is my mother, who really loved going out to meet up with people, and she would drive herself, for example, to go meet up with friends, but she can't do that anymore because of her eyesight, which has been affected enormously. And not only that, there's many restrictions that my mom has due to the illness. So before my mom got sick, she was someone who was deeply engaged in the community at large, in the church community, especially. She was in charge of the women's ministry in where we live in Kawasukari. But beyond that, later on, so she's part of the PCA church. So she ended up becoming the leader of the Women's Guild in her local church, and later in the whole of Nairobi. So this is someone who was very, engaged with the community at large. And she also worked, so she would go to work as well. and so on and so forth. And when she got ill, all these functions that she had got taken away from her. She didn't have the same energy. She didn't have the same ability to actually do the things that she used to do before. But nonetheless, or even in fact, what my mother loves most is connecting to people. You know, she loves people, she loves women, she loves women's work, and that all of that was taken away from her. And despite of that, my mom has managed to stay connected. And what she's done is actually change her mode of connection. So what she does is that she calls. So when I was home, I noticed this. So I would see my mom talking like, and I'm serious about, like 4 or 5 hours on the phone. So she has this maybe 5, 6 conversations that she has every day with different people, lasting around 30 minutes to 1 hour. And I was like, oh, mom, this is just way too much. Like, you know, why do you have to call this? I was making jokes of her. I say to her, you're like a call center. But now when I was reflecting on this and preparing for this, I realized, you know, that is her way of staying connected. She calls different people call her, and that helps her to stay connected, because we are, you know, social beings, and we need the connections to other people. And if one can change the mode of connection, so these days there's Zoom, there's telephone calls, so there's so many ways that we can stay connected. And this is maybe the one thing that you could give to your family member if they're actually affected by the disease, or if you're yourself a HD warrior. Just support them in being connected to other people. Help them find ways to stay connected. And sometimes people do actually, our family members, they need the support from us so that they can actually be able to stay connected. So this is the question maybe I could ask you as a family member who supports someone who has HD. How can I help my our beloved person so that they can stay connected? They need that so that they can stay positive, and so that they can be able to maybe to even stop the effects of the disease, or even have a quality life despite the diagnosis that they have. The second thing that I noticed that my mom does is she found ways to keep herself busy. And I think one has to really be deliberate about this, to plan your day and find things to do so that you just don't live aimlessly. One of our deepest need as humans beings is to actually have a sense of purpose and meaning in our lives, and have structure. And that, if we have that, it has positive effects on our psychological well-being. And so that's how my mom has done it. So that's one of the things that she's done, which actually help her to contribute to the society, and which add meaning and purpose to her life. And I think that we don't have to have big goals. It could be small things that one does. It could be maybe think to yourself, okay, I need to just maybe read a book, or do this or do that. You know, just find simple things to actually fill your day and not just live aimlessly. My mom, like I said, she was, because of her illness, she was homebound. So she was not able to leave the home anymore. So she's always at home. But she's actually structured her day. So for example, she does sports, she can't do so much. So all she does is walk up and down the compound. And she's also found, like, she started a business back home. So she's kept literally many things. She's tried many things. She's had fish, which she kept for a while, and then she kept rabbits, and then she kept bees. And then now at the moment, she actually has chicken, which she sells. And that is something that she looks forward to. And it's something that motivates her to sort of, like, you know, feel like I'm somehow contributing to the society at large. And, you know, this is something that even one of my favorite psychologists, Viktor Frankl, found out long ago. Viktor Frankl was a Jew in the Nazi regime. And he and his whole family got arrested and put in a concentration camp. And while they were there, like everybody died. Like his father died, his mother died, his sisters and brothers died, I think, and his newly wedded wife also died. The only person who didn't die, so Victor and his sister, one of his sisters survived the concentration camp. But what Victor noticed is that what helped him, so it's many people died because obviously they didn't have food, or they were mistreated, or they got killed by the Nazis. But also what he noticed is that people who sort of gave up and were completely hopeless in that situation ended up dying very quickly as well. And so he himself, what he says accounts to why he actually survived that concentration camp is because he found something to do. And he did something very simple, like motivating or even just speaking words of encouragement to his fellow inmates. And that sounds small, but it gave him meaning. And that is something that also your family members could do. They just find something that gives them gives them meaning. Or if you're a HD warrior, find something that gives you meaning. And as a family member, how can we support? Just ask yourself this question: how can we support our loved ones so that they can be able to find to get a structured day or find something to do? Like I said, it doesn't have to be a business like my mother. It could be something small, like that they just notice what do they like, what do they enjoy, and how can we support them in that, in what they do. Is it, be it encouraging people, be it, I don't know, you know, there so many things that can be done. But think for yourselves, how can we support our loved one so that they also have a sense of meaning and are not sat down sort of waiting to die, you know, because that is very negative and has a really negative effect on us. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Those are the two things that I would like to share. Stay connected. So ask yourselves, how can I stay connected, or how can I help my family member to stay connected? And the second thing is find things to keep you busy, because that gives you a sense of purpose and a sense of meaning, which ultimately has a very positive effect on your mental well-being.